In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a few eBay stores, trying to help them optimize their store better to start getting more sales. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Bo Johnson. I am a full-time eBay reseller, helping you guys go further faster by helping you implement some of the strategies and tips that I'm using that help me achieve over $178,000 in sales on eBay last year selling pre-owned clothing. So let's not waste any more time. We'll jump into the stores. And if you guys are curious about store reviews, you could check out link down below or in the comment section over here where it holds you in place and to get a store review. And also, following the store review, you will get emailed a video recording of this store review, as well as a PDF that's going to have a lot of the bullet points on what you can be improving on to help get more sales and to help optimize your store a little bit better. So, also, too, if you have questions during this live stream, just drop them in the comments. I won't forget you. We'll pop in and out, and I'll try to do my best to answer those questions. So, let's get into this first store. We got Cunningly Cute. Very cool. So right off the bat, we got some good branding going on here. Though I would say it's not the most important thing you need to focus on when you're opening your store, but it's nice to know from a buyer's point of view that you got some stuff put together. You are actually trying to be a seller. You know, I know it doesn't help with like conversion or anything like that, but from a buyer's point of view, it's just like you have a banner. You have an icon, a logo. That's a good start. I think it's better than not having anything there at all. So good job on that. Though if you don't have a banner or a logo, try to do it. Go to canva.com, sign up for a free account, but don't spend more than just a few minutes coming up with something quick and easy. So you have 1.7 thousand items sold with 100% feedback, and you have a little over 1,000 items listed. Let's look at some of your photos. So I'm liking the off-white background, similar to kind of what I use. I would say if you have the chance, I think the top part of your photos look really well lit, but it looks like there is a slight shadow casting on some of your clothing, which is fine. I mean, this is eBay. We're not trying to be like Amazon here, but if you could get maybe another light source on the bottom half of your photos, like this blouse, Banana Republic shirt, blouse, you can see how it's real light and bright up top here, but then towards the bottom of your photo, it kind of is it fades away, you know? So I would consider either moving your photos or your lights back to help spread out that light more evenly, or just adding in another light on the bottom half of your photos listing setup or photo setup. But other than that, good stuff. The colors look somewhat accurate. They almost look a little bit bleached out a little bit, but you know, I use LED lights and I got those things at half power. So I don't know what lights you're using, if they are adjustable, but I would probably turn them down a little bit and then look to add another light towards the bottom of your photos. But yeah, let's see what you're selling. You got 1,000 items listed, a really good kind of ballpark range that we like to see how you're doing on your store. You know, how you're doing your titles, how you're doing your pricing, how you're optimizing your listings, as we try to stick with a 1% sell-through rate. You know, if you have a 500 item store, we would love to see 5 items sold a day. If you have an 1,000 item store, we would love to see 10 items sold a day. So as you get bigger, you know, in a couple thousands of items, you know, it's okay for that sell-through rate of 1% a day to drop. That's fine. But when you're just starting out, that's something that I'm going to look for, so it kind of gauges how your trajectory will be as you continue to fill your store with more items. Also, too, I would love to know, if you are in the chat, how many items you are listing every day and how long have you been listing that many items per day. I ask that because it is a really important key detail when you are getting going on eBay. I do feel like the days that you list every day, say you're doing it for 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, maybe you're only doing it for 10 days. That really does matter to build up the consistency within the platform and, the amount you're listing every day as well. So let's take a look at your last 90 days and just see how you're doing. So 142 sold in the last 90 days. So we're looking at, let's just pull up the old calculator here and divide that by 90. So you're selling 1.5 items per day, which we would love to see more than that, right? Like I said, I don't know your listing goal or your listing habits, but let's just kind of take a look. You've listed 1 today, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I listed 5 today. Okay, so maybe you're just doing 5 a day, which, if you're selling 1.5 a day and you're listing 5 a day, I would definitely stay there at that listing amount before you ever think about moving on up. So now let's just look at some of your titles first. I really think that titles are one of the most important aspects to being successful on eBay. If you go on eBay and you do some digging around in the search results, specifically for clothing, the titles are terrible. The titles are unstructured. There's lower cases, there's upper cases, there's misspelled words, there's the brand at the end of the title when it should be at the start. There's no gender, there's no item type. A lot of these things that may seem unimportant are actually the key to having your buyer find the item. So we always want to start with brand, item type, gender, size. That is like the start of the structure of the titles for clothing that we want to stick with so we can get found in the most common buyer search results. So let's just take a look what you got going on. So Zara shirt, women's medium. Great. Aerie dress, women's small. Madewell shirt, women's small. Okay, you're knocking it out of the park with the first few words in your title. That's how you want it. You want it free people sweater, women's small. Great job. Now let's look at some of your keywords. Let's see. You got brown, shift, pullover, pockets, plaid, short sleeve. Okay, good job on the dress. Zara, black crop, top, ribbed, keyhole, pullover, short sleeve. Short sleeve and long sleeve are probably the lowest keywords that I'm going to be using in my titles nowadays, because usually when you're listing your item and in your item specifics, you're putting that as an item specific. You're putting short sleeve, you're putting long sleeve as an item specific. So the keywords should mainly be reserved for things that aren't in your item specifics, but are still going to accurately describe your item. Things like your graphic print or what does the spell out of the shirt say, little key details that are really going to help point more buyers to your item, because the item specifics are searchable. So if you leave out long sleeve, well, they're still going to find it, assuming that you still chose long sleeve under the drop down menu for your item specifics. Let's pop into a couple of your listings. Let's see, Madewell shirt. Plenty of photos. Great. You're doing a picture of the SKU as the last photo. Great insurance there to, just in case you lose the item, you got the photo in there and you know where it's at. That's good. You got the material tag. Awesome. You got the size tag. Great job. And you got some measurements. You got the pit to pit and the collar to the bottom hem. One thing I would say about this shirt, I think it's overpriced. $29.98. Madewell was a great brand about 2 years ago. When I first started, you could sell those Madewell jeans for $44, $34. Now, lucky to get $20. So I think just the brand overall has taken a bit of a hit. I would price this between $17.95 and $19.95 for this shirt. Good keywords, though. Women's small, yellow, super light. Okay, and you offer free returns, and the shipping price looks good. So item specifics, in good condition, no stains or holes, good job. Puff sleeve, cotton, yellow, small. Okay, item specifics look good. Now let's look at your item description. So I don't put the title in my item description. Sometimes when you're listing from your phone, that automatically gets put into your item description. But if you're listing from your desktop, this is an unneeded step that's not necessary because they already know what it is because they clicked on your item and your title's up here. So mainly you're reserving your item description for condition, for any flaws, your policies, how the item's stored and cared for, and is it washed? Those are the things that I'm looking for. So if you look at my item condition, very simple. Bullet points with the condition description at the top. That's it. Very simple. 60-day free returns, same-day shipping. We offer a combined shipping discount for multiple orders. Here's 2 things I really try to emphasize in my item description. And if you're working on an item description and you're figuring out what to put, you can take what we have here, maybe put it into ChatGPT, and change it up a little bit. But you want this type of verbiage to help eliminate returns. So I got, please note, item measurements are approximate and may differ from tag size, because if you're selling pre-owned clothing, a lot of your items are going to differ from the tag size. Why? Because previous washings may change the sizing. Please compare to the measurements in photos to ensure proper fit. Now, is this a way that you're going to stop getting returns? No, it's not, but it's going to help minimize returns in the future. Not a lot of people make it this far in your listing to the item description, so most people aren't even reading it. Most people aren't even getting past your second or third photo in your listing. So that's just something to keep in mind. But if someone opens a return, now you have some evidence in your listing that's going to help you win those item not as described cases. So other than that, the pricing I would change. You have something similar to kind of how I was putting it. 30-day free returns. Pre-owned items are clean and inspected per eBay guidelines. Beautiful. Clothing is stored in a pet and smoke-free environment. Hey, you got it right here. Good job on your item description. I would say this is unnecessary. The item description is not searchable, so putting things like keywords and for SEO, it's just not going to work. It's not searchable in Google, not searchable on eBay. That's what the item specifics are for. So if you're going out of your way to put more of this special stuff in there, that's going to help you save time. So everything I've highlighted here, you're going to want to just avoid doing in the future. So next listing, we got another Madewell shirt. So great title. I mean, I think your keywords look spot on. Square neck, pullover. Good job. So you have $24.97. Like I said, I think that Madewell has definitely gone more down the drain as of late. This is a size 0, so it's a very small size 2. Maybe some of their bigger sizes are going to be more in demand and command more of a higher price. But this is a small size, so adjust accordingly. Still great photos. Yeah, so also too, you can check out this list for item specific or for item specifics for I'll put it in the chat and you guys could save this, but Vendu did a study of trending hashtags not too long ago, April 25th. This is something that they're continuing to add to, so check it out. I think that is really going to be helpful for you guys to save in as a bookmark your favorites and start pairing out some of your items with the style. What is the aesthetic of this top? What is it going to match up with? Light academia, biker core, is it Barbie core? All these things do matter nowadays, especially for the next generation below me, the Generation X, Generation Z. I don't know what we're on now. I know the generation below me is using a lot of these trending keywords to help find their item. So classic core, coconut girl, cottage core, goth, fairy core, festival. You might be wondering, what in the heck is this? This is the language that the young kids are using. So you want to speak their language because you want to put those keywords in your title so they can find their items that they're looking for. So that's what I would suggest. Bookmark that page, start going back and maybe taking out some of those plain keywords like pullover, square neck should already be in the item specifics. So that's going to be found in search. So you wouldn't need to reiterate that in the title. So things like that, like switch out all your long sleeve and short sleeve keywords for keywords that are found in here. Grandpa core, heritage, kawaii, kid core, mermaid core, you got it all. So that's something that I would just look to improve upon. Let's look at more of your stuff. Looks like you're doing great with the tops. The pricing on some of the stuff looks fine. The Old Navy pants, probably not $20. Couple dollars cheaper. They are, it looks like they still have the tags, but you put pre-owned. So I'd want to switch this since they still have the tags, but they might have flaws. I don't see any, and you didn't put any flaws in the condition. So I would switch that to new with tags and probably leave it at that price. But Old Navy is definitely one of the most undesirable brands that are out there. Pricing looks, cabbie sweater, $34.97, maybe $24 around there. Abercrombie and Fitch pants, women's $27, $19.98. That looks fine. Another pair of Old Navy pants for $20. Another pair of Express pants. Hollister. Hollister's definitely a lower tier brand. I'd put that more like on the tier with Jessica Simpson. Size 23 too. That is going to be a hard one to sell. 00 is one of the worst sizes to sell in anything. So all these sizes, 0, 00, I don't pick those up anymore because when I went back and looked through all my oldest items in my store, whether it's a good brand or a bad brand, 00 just doesn't move. For example, I have a brand new pair of Lucky brand jeans that are a size 0 that have been listed for a year and a half. I think they're up for $12 and no one's taking them. So that's just something to be aware about in the future going forward in your store. I pass on 0, 00, size 2, size 4. Those are the sizes that are just really slow for me. So that could be a reason why if you have a lot of that in your store, like 000, didn't even know that existed, that is a size I would stay away from. Pretty much that goes for all things in the women's category. Small sizes in general are just a little bit slower. Miss Me pants. So I'd put Miss Me jeans, women's 27. $39.98. I usually sell Miss Me jeans between $24 and $34, depending on size. You got Lucky brand 00. I will tell you right now that the 00 of anything in your store is really going to have a hard time moving no matter the price. It's just not searched for very much. So let's go to American. Well, let's just open a new tab. American Eagle jeans, women's 00. So 00. Okay, now let's go pre-owned. 6,400 listed and 700 sold in the last 90 days. So 10% or less sell-through rate. So that's going to take a while to move these, probably a couple years. So that's something just to be aware when you're listing your items. You definitely want to see, is this an item with a good sell-through rate that I want to spend the time taking the photos of and doing the listing and all of that. So I'm seeing a lot of 00 in here for your jeans. Loft skirt, women's 4, window pane, petite, preppy, classic, good keywords. Loft skirt would sell that between $14 and $17. Also, you have a 20% off coupon. Good job, and your top-rated plus. Do you run any type of markdown sale? That's going to be an interesting thing because for your items that are slow movers and that are over 90 days to 120 days old, you're definitely going to want to implement some type of markdown strategy because you want those items that are getting stale on eBay to have some type of activity. Even by you just applying a markdown sale on items that are over 90 to 120 days old, even just assigning a 10 to 20% off coupon or markdown on those items, it's going to give it a little bit of some new life within eBay. Doing nothing to your listings and expecting them to sell like it was 2010, the set it for and forget it method, are long gone. Those days are long gone. So we always need to be active in our old listings, either going back and revising titles, going back and updating keywords, item specifics, things like that are really going to help when you have stale items in your store. So would suggest doing 90 days to 120 days and up, start applying some type of markdown sale. I don't know, you might do that already, but I don't see it. So J. Crew shorts, $14.98. Paper and denim new with tags, $39.97. Yeah, I would say for some of these brands like the Loft, which is one of the lowest tiers of Ann Taylor, I have a hard time selling them for $20. So no matter the size, definitely like a $14 to $17 price range on those. Ralph Lauren jacket, I know it's the RLX 2012. $80, that's going to be hard to do as well. This Asics jacket, I know it's UV protection, reflective, athletic, and I know it's brand new. It's going to be hard to sell that for $50. North Face jacket girls, large, $22. Okay. Just small sizes. Articles of Society, 27 waist. That is somewhat small waist size. So Abercrombie & Fitch sweater, wool blend, and it's vintage, $40. Let's take a look. It's got some pilling on it, slight pilling. Yeah, $40. Talbot sweater, lamb's wool mohair, Fair Isle, $40. So, brand new, $49. I mean, some of these brand new items might have a harder time selling at these prices. Adidas pants, men's medium, the tartan plaid, Arrow Ready, $50. Wondering your type of strategy. Looks like you're doing bucket pricing for some of your items, which is great. But then some of the items, like this Free People sweater, $54.98. That's going to be a hard one to move. Cabbie coat, $130. I know it's brand new. You probably see the price tag and you're going, man, someone paid $300 for this. But we really got to check the market on these items. So let's take a look. This is you price at $129 brand new. Let's take a look. What did these go through? Go for. So there's 3 available and you are the top. So let's see if any sold in the last 90 days. None. Okay, so your competition, has, I know these aren't puffers, but you're $30 above the next type of cabbie coat that's listed. So just keep that in mind when you're pricing your items. You really want to study the market on a few of these things, like this Under Armour jacket, men's medium. It's brand new, but let's take a look. All right, so let's go to new with tags. There's 1,400 listed. How many have sold? 200 in the last 90 days. So 15% sell-through rate, not the best. And then let's look at highest to lowest so we can get an idea on what is going on. So their puffer jackets go for a good amount. And then you had just a regular kind of jacket. Let's see. So 64. Since it's such a slow sell-through rate, I think you're priced okay, but it may take a year to sell. So if you want to move these items a little bit faster, you're probably going to want to range towards the bottom to the middle of the market since it's such a slow sell-through rate. So page 3 would be like the middle to the bottom end of the market. You see these going for 36, 35, 43 free shipping, 34 plus shipping. You may want to adjust that price $15 if you're wanting to get that sold here within the next 6 months. So yeah. But other than that, I mean, I would say 80% of your store has a decent price, but some of the items that that are new or that are a special material, could be an old item in your store as well. So you want to implement some type of markdown strategy. North Face jacket, fleece, $40. That might be a bit too high as well. I don't know if it's wool or not, but let's see. Nope, it's fleece, polyester. Okay, yeah, that might have a hard time moving for $40. This cabbie sweater, I know it's brand new, $90. And if it's cotton, That's going to be a tough one. The one good thing too that I'm seeing is your brands look good. I mean, Cabby's a good brand. Talbot's is okay. Banana Republic's okay. That's the hardest part when starting out as a reseller is where can I find good brands that people actually want to buy? So you have to set yourself up for success by choosing to fill your store with actually good items that have high sell-through rate. Average sale price is another story. That's why you really got to work on how can I lower my cost of goods from the get-go, especially when you're just starting out, and focusing on high sell-through rates. So you can turn that $1 into $5, $1 into $10 as fast as possible. Then you can start to slowly increase your cost of goods by getting higher average sale price items. So, yeah, good stuff. I would just work on the other light and maybe pulling back your lights from your photo setup to kind of spread out that light a little bit more. Go in, see if you can offer some type of markdown sale, markdown strategy. That's really going to be helpful. Also, playing around with some of those prices on your newer items, and some of those items I would go back and look up. Go back and check the sell-through rates. Go back and see what can I do to these items to help bring down the price so they can actually sell. Looks like you're listing 5 a day, you're selling 1.5 a day. Stay at that point until you start to see 3 sales a day on a consistent basis. So I hope that that was helpful. You're going to get a emailed copy of this review as well as a PDF, all documented of everything we just talked about, so you can kind of start knocking those out. Also, too, going back to your oldest items first and bulk editing those items, maybe 10 a day, 20 a day, and start working on titles, because all of our oldest listings suck. Basically, they need to be worked on and re-optimized so they can actually get a new life and found in search. If you guys are thinking about getting a store review, you could just scan this barcode right here. That will take you onto the page where you can hold your place in line to get one of these store reviews. We do these every week, every Wednesday, where I bring up people's stores, help them optimize them better, help bring in new life into your store, especially in the dying times of eBay. So you can scan this code if you're watching on TV, or you can just click the link in the comments or down below if you are on your phone or desktop. But let's get into the chat. I want to know how you guys are doing. What's going on? We got Sal in the house. What's going on, buddy? Doing good. You're going on vacation soon. I'm stoked for you. Tammy says, what's up? How's it going, Tammy? Hope you're well. You're a great supporter of the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you. I heard recently that typing men's or women's, etc. in the title is not necessary because it is filled in the item specifics. What are your thoughts? I do it, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. I haven't heard much talk about it, so I don't know where you heard it from. You could try it, see how you do, but it does make sense, right? If you are listing in the correct category, if you are putting in the correct item specifics, then those are searchable. So it's like, why need? So try it. See if you like it. See how it does. But for me, I'm always going to do brand, item, gender, size. That is just how I have done it, and that's how I will continue to do it. I know some people do like adult, so you could try that as well, or leaving it out. See how it goes. Boho, Mr. Run Good. What's going on? Yeah, boho, good keyword. What does boho mean? Well, let's look it up because I got the sheet right here. What does boho mean? I know these words sound crazy. It's like we're talking another language. So let's see. They got it right here. This page is what Vendu did for a study of trending keywords. You can find it in the comments section here that I just posted. But bohemian. Most people confuse bohemian with modern boho chic, to the extent that you should use both because they become practically interchangeable. Okay, so this is kind of the style. You can see flowy, retro, hippie kind of culture. That's boho, short for bohemian. Bohemian has historically been related to Bohemia, the inhabitants of the western region of the Czech Republic in Central Europe. With undertones to its roots, modern bohemian fashion was coined in the U.S. in the 1960s, which is inspired by Roma, gypsy style, hippie fashion, and free-spirited color aesthetics. The bohemian aesthetic includes tapestries, plants, macrame, rattan, Aztec, tribal, geometric patterns, vibrant colors and patterns, gold tones, and chunky jewelry. Modern celebrities who are known for wearing bohemian fashion include Zoe Kravitz, Stevie Nicks, the Olsen twins, and the cast of Rent. Bolo brands that are mainly focused on bohemian style. Anthropology brands, Urban Outfitters, Band of Gypsies, Spell and the Gypsies Collective, Johnny Was, Cleobella, Tula Stone Cold Fox, Lucky Brand, and Free People. Okay, so those are some good ways to maybe go back into your store, look up this type of style, and if you're not including bohemian, boho, bohemian style, hippie, boho fashion, boho style, boho jewelry, you're missing out, because that's what the young kids are searching nowadays, and it would be a good way to help optimize your title and listing a bit more. So I hope that answered the question. Juanita, late but you made it. Hey, you're here. What do they say? Better late than never. Mr. Run Good, Bohemian. Yep. Shane says, laugh out loud, thought it was something like Soho. Yeah. Mr. Run Good says, I sold a Hollister t-shirt, men's extra small. Boom. There we go. I have a real hard time selling anything extra small, but that is points for you, because to do that is very difficult. So good job. Soho would be good too after searching it quick. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. Tina says, hi, Bo. First time on live. Hey, you're here. Appreciate you. If you guys have questions while we're doing these store reviews, I'm here to answer them. I'm here to bring as much value as I can in the next hour to help you guys excel in your reselling business. That is my goal. I want to see you guys succeed here, now, in a time of crisis on eBay, right? But there's always something we can do to get better. So Tina says, when do you refund the original shipping cost with a return? I have free returns on all my items. Okay, so just a minute. So for items that are like buyer remorse, which are returns for didn't like, ordered by mistake, or doesn't fit, those are the returns where I withhold shipping. I do not give the original shipping back for those purchases. We're not liable to return that shipping as sellers. We can withhold that, which is nice. But for item not as described, for arrived damage, missing parts or pieces, doesn't match description or photos, those are the ones where we actually have to refund the shipping if you are wrong. So if you're wrong, if you labeled something red but it's actually green, if you measured 31 but it's actually 36, those would be your fault, and you just have to wear it like a badge of honor and try not to make those mistakes too often. But when you do have evidence stacking up on your side and the buyer's delusional, because we know a lot of times they're just ordering stuff without even looking, you can fight those and challenge those item not as described that would be false. So you would be able to report the buyer, and you would not have to withhold the shipping, or you would not have to refund the original shipping. So for item not as described returns, and if it's your fault, you do have to return the shipping back. But if it is not your fault and you actually have a case to why the buyer's wrong, sometimes buyers choose, doesn't match description or photos, but it's actually a didn't fit return. So you're going to have to really look into your returns. What is the language that the buyer is using, so you can hopefully win a lot of those returns that aren't your fault. So you could report the buyer and put that in the notes. I guess I could show you how you report the buyer. So, okay, it's having me sign in again. But there's a page that I use quite often. Report a buyer. You can just look it up in Google, eBay, report a buyer. It will take you to the screen. You're going to put in the item number. So let's pretend this guy was not doing good. and he filed an item not as described return. Once you select the item that you're in question, that the buyer is making a false claim, you have a lot of different options here. Don't know if you could, you could barely see that. Okay, so now you have a lot of options. You can do, this is what I do most commonly for item not as described returns. I do buyer made a false claim. I click on that, and then I go claimed the item was not as described when that wasn't true. And then you're going to go ahead and put in all the facts of why you think that this is not a true item not as described, and then you hit submit. Give it some time to head to their team to have them review it. It can take up to 8 weeks, 12 weeks to have that be actually removed from your metrics. And then I would still go ahead, if you believe you are the right one in that situation, withhold the shipping. They'll probably freak out. It's okay. And there's been many cases where you've been right, and eBay will actually refund their shipping to them just to kind of quiet them. Just be like, here's the $6 back. So if you get a crazy customer, it's like, where's my shipping? You can always just say, very sorry, please contact eBay for further information, further shipping questions. And if they're being crazy, you can also block the buyer too, and then they'll just never see your store or be able to send you a message. So I know that was kind of going off the deep end there, but that's just kind of my process, what I do when I get returns. Item not as described returns. So Diane says, I have 2 Jessica Simpson shirts. They are identical in style. One is white and one is black. There's a tag on only one of the shirts. The care tags in the item specifics are removed. How do I list? Okay. Yeah, so that's going to be a tricky one, but lately I've been passing on things that don't have the size tag. It's just, it opens you up for returns. But Diane, what I would do is I would go to the pit-to-pit measurement size chart for women's tops and measure the pit-to-pit so you can get at least an idea of is it a medium, is it a large? So you can kind of put that. And what I would do is I would disclose in your condition description, tags have been removed. Size tags have been removed. So at least if they open up a return, you could say, well, I put that in the listing. Did you read it? It's the buyer's responsibility to view the photos and read the listing before making the purchase. That's a good line to save right there when you're talking to eBay. So that's what I would do. I hope that answered that. That's how I would list it. Same thing for jeans and pants. I put the measured size instead of the tag size if the tag is cut out, and then I will disclose that in the condition description. Mr. Rungood says, flowy is great too. That's a great keyword. Yep. Diane says, by the way, I do want to list those shirts together. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so you're going to put lot of 2. I would put that somewhere in your title. Lot of 2, list them together. Use black, white as a keyword, if that was the color, right? Yeah, black and white. And that's what I would do. And just apply what I just said to that listing if you're going to list them together. But yeah, it's tricky. I stopped picking up stuff like that for that reason. It just opens up to more returns. And I want to just minimize as many as I can. 803 Trend says, hi, Bo. I'm thinking about shoe lots to get rid of summer shoes. What are your thoughts on getting rid of seasonal inventory to get more with higher sell-through rates? I think it's a great idea. I do list jackets in the summer. I do list flowy linen tops in the winter. So I don't really pay much attention to the seasonal items because I'm listing just all throughout the year. But if you are maybe low on space, or maybe you want to reclaim some of that capital that you invested in those shoes to put into higher sell-through rate items, go for it. Lotting up slower selling shoes is going to be your best way to just get rid of them, get your money back, and then go invest that into other items. So we don't all have a warehouse or storage units to work out of, and we really value the space sometimes. So I think if you have minimal space and you have a bunch of items that are just slow individually, consider lotting them up, getting them on even an auction listing if you really want that item to move. Though I don't promote auctions, but if you're dealing with low space and you need that money back, let it ride. Get that money back and go reinvest into some women's tops. Matt Wilson, I'm in Canada selling on Poshmark Canada. How can I deal with $15 shipping here and $3.95 Poshmark fee for a shirt? You know, I wish I had the answer for you. I don't currently sell on Poshmark, so I don't know about how the rates are. I do know that in the U.S., shipping is favorable to sellers that sell on Poshmark, but for Canada, I don't know. Anyone in the chat, can you give Matt some help? But that's crazy, yeah. So you're dealing with $15 shipping here. You could, I don't know. I honestly do not know. I wish I could help you. I don't know if you have pirate ship in your area, but I know that Poshmark shipping is just combined in the platform. So is that where you're paying $15 per item and then you're paying $4 Poshmark fee for a shirt? Man, that's crazy. Yeah, selling a shirt. Whew. And Andy Flips, first live. Welcome, Andy. If you guys got questions, drop them. I'm here to answer them. I'm here to help you. Another store I wanted to get into, and this is a Patreon member store he had just posted. We've already done a store review for this guy, but that is the benefit of joining the Patreon, is that we do multiple store reviews in your store throughout weeks, months, however long you're in there, to be able to guide you along the way. We don't just review your store once and go, good luck. We want to keep you accountable to the things that we're suggesting that you do in your store to see if you've actually put those tips that we're telling you in place. You know, because we can tell you all the information, we can tell you how to do it, we can show you how to do it, but until you actually do it, nothing's going to change. So that's why we like to keep people accountable by going into their stores on a weekly basis and just seeing what you're doing. What's going on? How is the progress coming in your store? So we got Modern Runway here. We did a review of this store, and you know, he's been in the Patreon for a little over a month now. Let's see how things are going. I believe he gets stuff from the bins. So I think photos look good. Background looks good. You have 252 items, 38 sold, so you're just getting going. Believe they've been listing 8 items a day for 2 weeks now, so this is still somewhat new life in the store, but let's see how much you're selling in a day so we can track the progress. 251 items. We'd love to see 2 sales a day, but so you got 38 sales in the last 90 days. So I would just say keep doing what you're doing. You only have 2 weeks of listing history consistently at that pace, so it's going to take some time to really build that up. You know, eBay takes time if you're selling mall brand clothes or you're going to the bins and you're listing 10 a day and you've only been doing it for a few weeks. I know it can feel a little bit discouraging because it's a lot of work. Reselling is not like what it seems, right? It's not like we're sipping lemonade on yachts and, you know, wearing Louis V and just hanging out. This is the grind. And you could sell high average sale price items as well, and it's still a grind. It's still, you're working all the time, every day. So this is why it's not as easy as it looks, and it can be very discouraging if you've been working really hard for like even a month or two and you just don't see those results. I'll just say to you that if you stick with it, think about how many people quit during that time. How many people are quitting, giving up after a month, after a few months, after 6 months? How many people are quitting right now because their eBay store has been shaken? It's those who survive these times are the ones that are going to benefit in the long run. So 2 weeks of listing 8 in a day, every day for 14 days, is just not enough time to really trigger within eBay to show them, hey, I'm serious. It's going to take months of consistency to really see in your analytics, like your traffic, your page views, and your sales to really start going on the uptick. But yeah, just keep at it. I think finding items to sell that people actually want is the hardest part. So always be working on that, whatever season you're in as a reseller. Maybe you've been selling for 22 years on eBay. I think always our pursuit of trying to find better items to put in our store is always a way that we can combat and survive the storm of the ups and downs of reselling. But if you are feeling discouraged and you're just not getting any sales on eBay, look in your traffic tab and then go to the month over month view and just see how you're doing month over month. Don't look at the week, don't look at the day. I would say don't even look at the month if you've been selling for years on eBay. Look over the year over year. My first year my second year over my first year, I was up hundreds of percent. This year over last year, up 65% year over year. So you don't realize how like a brick and mortar store or brick and mortar company would just kill for 2% growth year over year. So to be up in your store, even just double digits, is a blessing. So stay committed to the process. Modern Runway, keep going. You got 250 items. Try to find the best items that you can. I wouldn't be listing things like Apartment 9, App 9, not the best brand. Wild Fable, it's okay. It's a Target brand. But your pricing looks okay as well. Just keep doing what you're doing, having your vision set up, and staying at 8 a day, and I believe that's what you were at. Stay there for quite some time until you start to see about 4 sales a day. So we just finished up one of the worst months of the year for me on eBay. I think we did about $13,500 in sales on eBay when we were averaging $15,000 in sales on eBay for the previous months. So a slight decrease in sales, but that's okay. The worst is over because August is generally, over the last 2 years on eBay for me, has been much better than July. But that's what I would do with your store, is just keep remaining consistent and then look to put in better items in your store. Your titles are on point. Your photos look great. You're taking good photos. You're putting in measurements. Well, actually, you're not. I would definitely suggest putting in measurements. This could be an old listing. Let's go to your newest listing. So you got measurements in some of your newest stuff, but and that's something I would just continue to get in the habit of. This is upside down, so I'd probably switch that. But measurements are going to be key to help minimize your returns and getting in a couple extra photos in your store as well. So you got 3330, 3330. Yeah. So that's what I would work on in your store. Just till it's too early to tell, too, also, if you've just been listing consistently for a couple weeks. So back to the chat. Hope you're doing well. All right, so we got Jamie. What's going on? Good to see you. 100%. And update on your hiring process. So, Jamie, you said, well, I've hired my third helper for listings, and the second person is mistaking spelling, and I'm not sure what to do, and I have to correct all 75 listings. What do you think? That's hard. If they're not willing to learn, when you're hiring listers, the first thing you need to test is their error correction abilities. Is this person going to listen to my corrections? And if they don't after the first couple times, that's going to be a disaster in your store if you continue to use them. So I would just get them out of there. If they're not listening to the spelling and your suggestions on correcting their errors, just move on to the next lister. There's so many out and available on Upwork, on Fiverr to be able to choose from. And spelling is the most important thing. If they can't spell the brand right, the keywords right, it's just a waste of money. So you really have to focus on that as a key aspect. How is their spelling? It's key. So, I would redo those 75 listings or have them redo them. But I would definitely look for another lister if they're not willing to follow instruction. Jamie, you said, should I be correcting these listings from these helpers? Yes, Definitely. Was my biggest struggle when I hired listers. Was it took me so much time, more time than if I just did the listings myself. I would just have another screen pulled up here, and I would be auditing their listings, and I would just take screenshots of the things that needed to be fixed. I would send them over on WhatsApp to be able to tell them, hey, this is actually blue and it's not gray, so I don't know what color you're seeing. When I had a Pearl Snap Western shirt, I would say you didn't put Pearl Snap as a keyword. I would take just screenshots over all these corrections. And now, you know what? Minimal mistakes. But that took 4 months of pretty much every day. First, it was like 10 errors a day. Now it's like 1 error a day. So it's just really important that you minimize those errors, because it will junk up your store and really hurt you down the road. Mr. Rungood says, so if you have jeans that are tagged 34-32 and they measure 32-30, what do you put in the title and what do you put in the item specifics? If it's under 2 inches, I use tag says. Yeah, so that's a great point, and that is one of the most confusing questions that people have, especially when they're first starting out, because most denim jeans, especially if they're 100% cotton, they're going to shrink, they're going to stretch. This is what I do, and I'll suggest to you what other people do with success as well. I always put the tag size in the title, and then I will always put the measured size in the item specifics, only if the range is more than 1 inch. So you said 2 inches. So I do 1 inch. You could do 2 inch, that's fine. So if it exceeds 2 inches away from the tag size, whether in the waist or the inseam, then you can make that correction. I do it if it's more than 1 inch, then I'm going to note that in the actual item specifics as the actual size. But if it's like a 1/2 inch close to the tag size, I'm going to just go with the tag size. So that's what I do. Another way people do it with great success is they do the tag size right after. So you could do Levi's jeans, men's, and then you would put 34-32, and then you would do your keywords. And then at the end of the title, you could put actual and then put the 32-30 as the size. It does take up a little bit of your keywords, but it really helps the buyer understand when they read the title, and hopefully that's what they're reading. Most don't, though. That you have that there as some insurance can be helpful. But that's how I do it. Seems to work good for minimal returns, especially in men's sizing. Tammy says, I heard a new keyword today for vintage Western Pearl Snap shirts. Yeah, brush popper. Brush popper is a Wrangler model. But yeah, it's Wranglers. They make the brush popper shirts. So if you have a Wrangler Pearl Snap, that is a good keyword to use. And they go for some pretty good money. So that is a good one. If anyone has learned any other new keywords, I'm all about it. I think it's an ever-changing world of keywords and terminology and aesthetics. So if you're finding something with success, maybe you don't want to share it, which I don't blame you, but can be helpful for other people just getting started too. What's going on, Josh? Josh in the house. If you guys want some good inspiration, go follow Josh's channel. He puts out like a video every day, giving you updates on what he's doing in his business and how he's going through his business. And it's really inspiring, So that's good. Good to see you, Josh. You say, on my way to the Jays game. Nice. So listening as radio only. Keep rocking it, Bo. Sweet. Oh, man. Baseball games, going to them are much more fun than watching them on TV. So I do remember going to a few games, and yeah, they are exciting. So hope you have fun. Toronto, yeah, you're in Canada. So Toronto, that's awesome. Sweet. Shane says, you let them go, Nails. Yeah. If you're having problems with your listers that aren't going to be listening to instruction and you're paying them, there's plenty out there. I like using Upwork because you can send out a resume and people can apply to it, so you have much more use of time. Where on Fiverr, you're actually like spending time looking for the right person, where you can actually just put an ad on Upwork and have a bunch of people apply, and you can start filtering through the people who aren't going to be a good realistic option for you. Roro Maui says, try Roro Sales Maui. If you guys are wanting a store review. You can find it linked down below, and that will hold your place for a store review. And I could follow up with you guys a little bit more organized and better. I did that because when I did these months ago, I was starting to kind of lose track of people sending me their store name in the comments, and then I started losing track, and I didn't want to leave anyone out. So now we have an actual form that you fill out and you email back to me, and it puts you in place to hold your spot for a store review. Josh says Matt Wilson used Chit Chats. Oh, Matt Wilson used Chit Chats. And then Jamie, Mr. Run Good says, do it yourself until you're listing like on a day. Yeah, to be honest, I would have never hired listers at the start, and I'm glad I didn't, because I really needed to understand the items that I was listing. I had to do over 10, 15,000 listings by myself to really know what to look for on how to do these titles, how to do the item specifics. If I didn't know how to do a perfect title or the most perfect that I could, how can I train someone else to do it? I needed to really understand. So I always knew that in the future, when I'm ready, I would hire listers. But, if you're just starting out and let's say you've done less than a couple thousand listings, I would still continue to do them so you can really refine your technique and be able to train up someone, down the road. But if you maybe just have a few hundred listings under your belt, it's a little harder. Everyone learns differently. I know that I needed to do thousands of listings before I was ever able to train someone to really get it in my head to know how to do it, right? So, but everyone learns differently. So, but that is a good point of view, Mr. Run Good. Yeah. List a lot, and then you'll be able to train someone with excellence because you'll be a master. What's Next says, is it safe to sell shoes on eBay like Nike, Uggs, Timberland? I don't know if they're authentic. You bought them in an abandoned storage unit auction. Yeah, that's tricky, especially with Nikes. And I think you asked this before or in a comment. You could also use the Check app. On your Nikes, at least. If you got them from an abandoned storage unit, that's interesting that someone would hold, fakes in a storage unit. But as far as like the brands, I sell Nike on eBay, I sell Uggs, I sell Timberland. But if you have any that are in question, you want to check the stitching, check the bottom of the soles, the insoles, look up on YouTube how to spot fake Nikes, and then you're going to get a clear indication on what's going on with these. Also, download the app on your phone, check, and you can send them photos and they'll verify it for you. But I always say if it's any bit of riskiness, I think our eBay accounts are worth so much more to be able to just be lazy and put in stuff that is fake that has a chance of your account being taken down, because eBay is all about the authentication. So that's why some shoes, when you sell them, they go through FedEx to get authenticated. So we got to make sure and keep that as minimal as possible, because if they reject a few for being fake, your account will get shut down, and then it's over. So it's not worth it. But check out those apps. You can also send your stuff to the RealReal, even though you'll get peanuts for it nowadays. So those are some options. Jamie says, I'm in my only worker here. I have over 1,000 products, working hard. Yeah, you're doing great. Okay, thank you. Very much appreciated. Yes, they put pink, but it's actually purple. Another one is color. Yeah, I've had a few times where they say it's black, but it's gray. I'm not going to be tolerating that for a lot of my listings, because if you mess up the color, that's a great way to get a return. So, yeah. Jamie said, I had a very good lister in the beginning, amazing, and I'm testing my third one now. I say keep testing them until you find one that you really like that can really listen to instructions. It's okay if they make mistakes. Just have them correct the mistakes, and then hopefully they don't make them again. That's when you have a good worker. Great, thanks. You're welcome. Appreciate you guys. If you're wanting maybe a little bit of help with your item specifics, your keywords, I don't know how many of you all are clothing resellers, but I came up with this guide, the ultimate guide to eBay item specifics for clothing, 130-page book filled with every single clothing item specific on eBay. You can find it linked down below. You can get access to an ebook or a hard copy, which I think the hard copy is a little bit better because you can have it by your side while you're doing your listings and you can actually know what you're listing. Tons of item specifics for clothing on eBay. It was my biggest struggle when I just started selling clothing, and I was just tired of jumping around throughout the internet. What is a balloon sleeve? What is a tunic? What is the difference between a tunic kimono, and especially if you get into women's clothing, it's a whole different world. So I've greatly appreciated the support this far. Definitely underestimated how many people would be interested. You could also find it on Amazon. I greatly appreciate any reviews. Thank you to whoever has left reviews. I appreciate that very much. I did that because I know that when I was first starting out on eBay, that's something that I could have really used to help speed up my learning process. So, hey, thank you, Jamie, for the $2.79 Canadian, I believe. Thank you. You're an awesome supporter. Let me know how that goes with the lister. Try going on Upwork to see if you can get some better results. And also, you don't need to test them out with just a couple listings. That's what I did to start. I gave them like 5 listings, and then I said, all right, do these and I'll get back to you. You don't need to give them hundreds of listings or even 50 listings. Have them test out a few that will really challenge them. And if they make mistakes, you can ask them, hey, can you correct these? And see if they correct them. So in reselling on eBay can be a challenge. It's hard. Reselling in general, wherever platform you're doing it on, it's difficult. This is why Marcus and I, with Dixon's Pickens, have started a reseller community, a reseller mentorship where we work with you 9 hours a week via Zoom, going into your stores, helping you guys optimize titles, helping you guys find items, price your items correctly. Combined, we did over $320,000 in sales last year. Combined this year, we're expected to do about $400,000 in sales selling pre-owned clothing. Our mission is to basically help you guys shorten your learning curve, to get your right foot forward, and to help capitalize on what is to come in the secondhand clothing market. It is expected to grow, but also there's going to be more and more resellers. So it's important that we refine our knowledge, stay on our game. We just hit 51 members in the community. You could try it. 7-day free trial. No cost. You get a reseller spreadsheet. You get an item specifics guide. You get a BOLO brain list. You get a store review. There's many other things that you get within joining this group. And if you do like it, it's just $1 a day after that. And, we'd love to see you there. We'd love to help you guys go further, faster as a reseller, and that is our mission statement. If you guys are catching this on the replay and you want a store review or you're thinking about a store review, just check out linked below, and I'd love to help you guys in your store, what I can do to help. Appreciate you all. We'll see you tomorrow, and have a blessed rest of the day. Take care.